In my last video, I talked about what's really going on behind the street violence in the Black Lives Matter protests, which have now become excuses for looting and mayhem, although it seems like in some cities we've turned a corner on that. That video is doing very well on YouTube, and it generated about 98% very enthusiastic comments and about 2% venom. So, I'm doing a follow-up video to further flesh out what else is going on behind the street violence headlines. Not only am I a media content creator, I'm also a consumer, and I've been paying pretty close attention to what other people are saying about these protests and about the spirit of chaos that's been unleashed in society. I had to laugh at what the geniuses at Twitter artificially decided what was trending last week. You know, trending on Twitter is complete BS, right? This one was hashtag Tucker Carlson is a racist. The left runs out of arguments really quickly, so all they have to fall back on is calling people whose opinions they don't like bad names. Tucker's been on my show. You can hit the link below, and he is the picture of balance and truth-telling. The leaders of the left are neither. If you think white people are being called bad names like racist because they oppose the agenda of the Black Lives Matter phenomenon, you're not paying attention to what ordinary, non-radicalized black folk have to put up with. Just Google any of these names. Candace Owens, Larry Elder, David Harris Jr., Sheriff David Clark, Elliot Hulse, Diamond and Silk, the Hodge twins, Henry Rivers. Get back to me. We can see the tide turning. We see media consumers of all skin colors out there having a red pill moment. For instance, the Rasmussen poll released Friday, June 5th, found that President Trump's job approval rating among African-American voters peaked at an all-time high of 41% in the wake of the rioting related to the death of George Floyd. Now, maybe it's that people have decided to go back to the sources, back to the horse's mouth. For those of you who still think that BLM is only about equality and fairness and the end of injustice for black people, let me read a couple of samples from their website under the What We Believe tab. All right, quote, "We foster a queer-affirming network. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking, or rather, the belief that all in the world are heterosexual, unless he/she or they disclose otherwise," unquote. Here's another. "We are self-reflexive and do the work required to dismantle cisgender privilege and uplift black trans folk, especially black trans women who continue to be disproportionately impacted by trans antagonistic violence," unquote. Here's another. "We build a space that affirms black women and is free from sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men are centered. We cultivate an intergenerational and a communal network free from all ageism. We believe that all people, regardless of age, show up with the capacity to lead and to learn." Ageism. "We practice empathy," they go on. We engage comrades with the intention to learn about and connect with their contexts." Comrades, that sounds familiar. Here's more. "We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable," unquote. Collectively. Collectivism. Well, that's a synonym for communism. Now, this is just a sample. Maybe you're not surprised to learn at this point that the movement was founded by 3 radical feminists, 3 women who are no doubt wounded and broken for various tragic reasons. Here's the problem. Women cannot teach men how to be men. Even the greatest single supermoms in the world, and they are truly my heroes, cannot impart masculinity to their sons. Boys become men only with the example and mentorship of men. Full stop. In last week's video, I talked about the dangerous isms that are screwing up the church and the world and creating fuzzy thinking and broken moral compasses. But there's another element behind this street violence, and that is fatherlessness. Bad or absent fathers are obviously not only a black thing, as anyone with eyes can tell you, it's across the board. We have a crisis of fatherhood and masculinity. A boy without a father can develop an anger level over time that is fueled by media outrage and can quickly morph into dangerous behavior. The social science data is in that the black community has been especially hard hit by fatherlessness. I just came across an essay in blackwallstreettimes.com by Marquita L. Jackson. She found that in 2015, 66% or 6.3 million African American kids are raised by a single parent. In 1965, Daniel Patrick Moynihan wrote the Moynihan Report, which focused on, among other things, the correlation between black poverty and the attack on the black family. Remember, Moynihan was a white Democratic Party senator. In 1965, the out-of-wedlock birth rate was 25% in that community. Again, back to the magic year 2015, it had skyrocketed to 77%. The human person, every one of us, black, white, yellow, red, albino, if you're an Opus Dei assassin, we all flourish best with a mother and a father in the house. Young boys especially need a strong father or father figure to draw them away from the world of girls and women that characterizes early childhood and kindergarten and elementary school. And men help boys stand on their own 2 feet as men who are good, strong, and loving. All colorblind qualities. Without strong fathers, you have higher suicide and temptation to suicide rates, higher rates of clinical depression, anxiety, joblessness, in the sense that you're living your life without a GPS. And then there's that simmering anger just beneath the surface waiting for someone to come along and exploit it for political ends. I'm Patrick Coffin. Subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, and have the content come to you. I also think you'll love Coffin Nation, the largest restoring of culture community in the world. It'd be an honor to have you. Be a saint. What else is there?